Hello, everyone. Welcome to Book Club Preview. I'm Michael, and today we're looking at Charlie Thorne and the Lost City, Chapter 6 and 7. Now, it starts off here with this individual, like this tour guide, kind of leading a bunch of people visiting this tortoise, um, not sanctuary, but center. Tortoise Center. And he's talking about how tortoises were killed by the thousands around Darwin's age. And a lot of times it was from sailors. Sailors would capture hundreds of these poor little guys. Well, I mean, I say little guys, but they're huge. Carry them on their ships and eat them because the tortoises could last for weeks without food or water, and then they can just store them and eat them when they needed food. And some of the people were like, oh man, this sounds so gross. But it's much better than what the sailors were eating before. And this young gentleman, Ivan, comes up to and grabs firmly, but not too aggressively, and says, "Oh, I need a moment of your time," and pulls the guy away. And Ivan is pretty angry, but he's trying to be calm. And he tells this guy, "Tell me where this ship or this airplane went." Because when Ivan got to the island, there was no airplane at this city. So he's pretty angry that he can't find Charlie and Esmeralda. And so this young guy, I should have wrote his name down, he doesn't want to tell Ivan, but Ivan's like, "I will hurt you if you don't tell me." And so he takes Ivan to this room where this other scientist is in, and this doctor is like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And quickly, Ivan grabs this guy's arm and twists it behind his back and says, "Tell me where Esmeralda went in the airplane." And the doctor wants to lie. I mean, even the young man that's gotten captured by Ivan, they want to lie to him, but they know if they lie, this guy's going to really hurt him. So they tell Ivan everything. Ivan sees like this tortoise shell picture with the markings from Darwin, and he reads like treasure. And so he's like, "What is this treasure? Where are these people going?" And he takes a picture of it and sends it to his Russian Soviet Russia, I think, SVR is what that stands for, team. And they crack the code, and they say you have to go to Kyoto. No, not Kyoto. Quito, maybe. And so he kind of learns all about that, and then he leaves the young man and the doctor and says, "Thank you for your time," very politely, and goodbye. That leaves us with Chapter 7, Charlie and Esmeralda flying into Quito, I'm going to call it. If you know a better way to pronounce it, let me know. And they fly in there, and this is the second highest city in the world. And so it's so high that it's harder to breathe. There's less oxygen in the air, especially coming from sea level. And so Charlie and Esmeralda, they have a hard time walking around. Now Charlie, she's pushing through and she's doing really good, although she's feeling a little dizzy. But Esmeralda, "Charlie, please slow down." And we learn that this city was built like 1500 AD, or no, not built by, but a special church was built there. And they're kind of going through the city. And while they're going through the city, Charlie's talking to Esmeralda about the Devil's Stone. And by the way, Esmeralda is super shocked with Charlie Thorne. Like, she's just like, this girl is crazy. She knows everything. But there's this story that around 1500, one priest wanted to build a church. And so he asked this guy to help him build the church. And so this guy, he prayed to God, God, please help me build this church. God didn't answer. So then the guy said, oh, devil, please help me build this church. The devil did answer. And so the devil appears and he says, I will help you build this church, but you must give me your soul and I can build it in one day. And the guy says, wow, that's fantastic. I'll accept your deal, but if you can't build it 100% in one day, then you lose the deal. And so the devil takes the deal. And the devil has little guys helping him build the church. And they building it all is going to be built in one day. But the person that made the deal, he's like, oh my goodness, I need to think of a plan. So he takes one stone out of the wall and he hides it in his coat. And so then the devil finishes and he says, we're finished. Ha ha ha, you owe me your soul. And the sun goes down. And the guy says, oh, wow, you did a great job. But there's one problem. It's not 100% finished. And he shows this little hole in the wall somewhere that's missing a stone. And the devil knows he lost. He's really angry and he says, I'm going to get revenge on you, and goes away. And that is the story of the devil's stone. And they say that someday when the devil returns to get his revenge, he's going to go through that little hole and they can take that stone and they can trap him in that hole forever. So they're going through the city trying to get to this church where the devil's stone is. And there's a huge party going on. There's like a really popular festival, church festival going on. It's right around the time of Easter, where they have they call it Ash Wednesday, where they put some ashes on because that's when Jesus goes to the cross. They have a Good Friday. That's the Friday that Jesus dies on the cross. And then Sunday is the day that Jesus rises from the dead. And so there's this huge week-long kind of festival celebrating all these different things. And so people are wearing costumes, and they're walking around, and there's decorations everywhere. And while they're walking through, someone accidentally knocks Esmeralda, and she's already... and she falls down and... Oh, ow! Oh, she hurts her hand. And she doesn't realize that there's blood coming down off of it. Charlie does notice. And there's a piece of glass inside. And Charlie realizes, oh, I didn't know you were Italian. We knew English wasn't her first language, but we didn't know she was Italian. And Esmeralda's shocked again by how much Charlie knows and how crazy she is, how much energy she has. But she's like, yes, I'm Italian. My last name is Castello. And then Charlie says that she heard or she read about a group of Italians that feel pain very fast, very quickly, but then it's gone. And there's also another group of people that have that same trait. And so Esmeralda fell, ow! And she felt the pain, but then she didn't feel anything else. And then she could see what was going on there. So Charlie learns that Esmeralda's Italian, and then this guy, monk, comes over and says, oh my goodness, you're bleeding. Oh, we need to get you cleaned up. And then they go off into another room to where he takes out the glass, puts some disinfectant, but then the pain goes away, wraps it around, and then Charlie asks, hey, do you know where the devil's stone is? And at first he's like, and Charlie, thinks she offended him, but he says, the stone was taken away and used to be built in this other church. And he kind of has this story of how this other church kind of took the stone. And where's this church at? And he opens the window. It's right there. There's a huge tower. It's like at the top of that tower. And Esmeralda's like, oh, we're going to get up that tower. And Charlie says, we can do it, but it's going to take some gear. And that's how the chapter ends. There's a lot of vocabulary here. Let me hit them so fast. I'm not sure how to pronounce this word, but Ducent, I think. Ducent. And this is kind of a lower level professor teacher or some guide in a museum. Weevil is this little bug that can go in like wheat or rice or like hard things, and it kind of has its eggs there and lives in there. Menace, wanting to have danger or causing hurt, and Ivan has this menacing look in his eye. Wince is oh, maybe Ivan takes his a little bit of pain, that involuntary, you don't mean to do it but your body reacts. Stucco, this is kind of a white clay that is used to build houses and buildings, especially in South America. Parse means to kind of separate. So when they're looking at this puzzle from Darwin, they were taking out the pieces, trying to parse it to find its meanings. Conquistadors are these conquerors, these Spanish nobles that were conquering the Americas. Nagging is, hey, 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 hey. And so Charlie Thorne had this nagging headache. Ooh, la la la, ooh, la la la, ah, la la la, oh, kind of kept coming back. Queasy, ooh, feeling like you want to throw up. Now that is nauseous, but if you lowered it a little bit, just, oh, I don't feel that good. Maybe driving in a car or airplane, queasy. Soldiering, soldier, the soldiers are tough, not giving up, and Charlie is having pain and hurting, but she's soldiering through the pain and the difficulties of having low oxygen. Gaily, happily, brightly. Bedecked is like decorated or covered. Impervious means to immune. It has no effect on you. So kind of like pain for Esmeralda. It hurts, and then it's gone. I have no idea what this is. Please let me know, or maybe I misspelled something. Trepidation is kind of this fear of the future, of like, oh man, this thing is gonna happen. We're gonna go on this crazy adventure. Ooh, it's gonna be that kind of feeling. Trepidation. That leaves us to our discussion question. If you were this doctor, professor, scientist, and this young man at this Tortoise Institute, would you tell Ivan everything? He has a gun. He's hurting your arm. But if you tell him about Esmeralda, she could get in a lot of trouble. Would you protect her? Would you tell him? What would you do in that situation? And of course, please make your own discussion question. That is all the time that we have for today. But thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, if you have any questions about the video today, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. If you had any other vocabulary words that you wanted to know what they meant, let me know. And also, if you're interested in maybe joining one of these book clubs, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.